This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show, because for me, it's all about hanging out, talking sim racing with you guys, and that is the whole point of the show. Michael Clark, thank you so much. We are going to have coffee and donuts today. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had an incredible weekend, and because of that weekend, I am running so far behind. So I'm going to make some apologies right now. I think by Wednesday we'll stop the apology tour. But I have pulled up the stories. I have got them ready to go, and I have not even read through them. So we are going through the stories today together. I might make some mistakes. Feel free to jump in and correct me because honestly, it took me forever to get here. We got in very late from the race, and you'll hear more about my weekend a little bit later in the show. I have a little bit of color. I do have a little bit of color, but not to the point of pain. But I was in the sun all weekend long, and it was a great weekend. So let's come back to the weekend. We're going to come back to that. Let's start with sim racing news, and then we'll get to what I did this weekend, which most of you already know where I was and who I was hanging out with, but we'll give it its due credit at its time. Anyway, at this weekend, one of the big things, I don't know if you guys watched the racing, the F1 race was incredible this weekend. Incredible this weekend. A great race. Very entertaining. And the IndyCar race was also very cool. But here what we have is Shaggy SoCal is the one who beat Joseph Newgarden in the Bounty Hunter. And he actually showed up for the race to get his autograph. So how cool would that be? You beat the champ online, and then you go meet him in person and be like, hey, you remember me? Remember that Forza Bounty Hunter where you set a time? Yeah, I'm the one who got you. And then ask him for his autograph. So pretty cool story there. Just kind of cool to see that others got out there for the weekend as well, sim racers, and got to meet some of their real life heroes. And maybe you've even raced against some of them, because it's a little different times now where you would be racing against these guys online from time to time. Another thing, and I think this just leads to a little bit of speculation. Here's Kazunori. And if you don't know, Kazunori Yamauchi is the main guy behind. Yeah, if I had a fro, it would keep the sun off the head and neck. I should bring up your picture just so people know what we're talking about. I can. Joa is our in-house patron team artist. And today's latest, greatest of making fun of me, of course, is this one. Make it fro. That fro would have helped a lot this weekend to keep the sun off of me. Anyway, there you go. So, Kazunori is at the was at the Formula One race. So, I wonder, what was he there? Was he there purely as a fan? Was he there because there's something in the works? You never know. Maybe it could be a Formula E content. Maybe it could be Formula E tracks. Maybe it could be a Formula E competition through GT Sport. Maybe, like us, he's just a fan and he wanted to go check out the race. Anyway, just speculating. Wild weekend in the IWGPS. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I do know that there's been another change up in the points. So you might want to head over to RaceSpot TV and catch up on that. Also, we've been talking about the Mazda MX-5 Cup iRacing Challenge. And don't forget, you can get in there and you can actually win a VIP vacation on them and a chance to drive in a real race-prepped Mazda MX-5. So definitely, if you're an iRacer, go check that out. There are dates, various different races. They're doing it both at tracks and online, as I mentioned. So there are a couple different opportunities. Also, more speculation. There's a leaked photo of this beautiful Subaru. Anyway, there's a lot of talk about what's coming to GT Sport. A lot of talk about what the next GT title will be. Lots of speculation on the polyphony side of things and what's going on. But it looks like they are going to have race challenges and things all involving the Subaru. So, funny how we get teases from these guys from time to time. Thank you so much about the mic, Time Runner. I appreciate it. I'm putting a lot of effort to make everything as good as I can get it. You know that. And I'm going to rattle through the news because I still have friends in town from the weekend. And we're going to actually go off to the Peterson Museum later today and check things out. So I am in a little bit of a hurry. That's also why I'm behind, because we got in and I have company. It's hard to dedicate all my time. So I'm still on vacation, but wanted to be here. Anyway, FA Racing, they have their paint schemes. So if you want to, you can download their paint scheme for the McLaren 650 GT3. I believe this is for Gran Turismo. Just find it under the following tags: Farg 2, GT Army, and Alonso. And it was done by ERT Panda, as I understand. But great looking paint scheme. If you want to run in their colors just to honor what they're doing in the sim racing world, you can do that. You can feel like an honorary team member of GT Sport. Shot of Fernando in a simulator of some sort. I don't know the relevance of that. Like I said, I'm just seeing some of this for the first time right now with you guys. But moving along, Rick Motec, they were at Homestead. I told you they were going to be there, but here's some shots of them at Homestead. That sure looks like a feminine arm. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, here you got the track record holder giving instruction to this person. I believe it's a female driving the car. You got to love that. So cool things going on at Ricmo Tech. Also, where's the post on... Don't forget they have a Wednesday Hot Lap Challenge, the third Wednesday of each week. Is that this week or is that next week? I'm going to have to look ahead on my schedule. But don't forget about Ricmo Tech, what they got going on. Now here is the ultimate Formula E news. But Pope Francis welcomed Formula E to Rome. So here with the Rome track going on... You've got the Pope actually blessing the car. And that is... Oh, I can't watch the video. It's been blocked. But that is cool to see that the Pope's coming out and getting involved in racing and helping promote that race and everything going on with Formula E. BSIM had a... I'm not sure if it's a review or just sort of a check it out. It's only 30 seconds long, so it's just a check it out. But... here's the new Pololo Instruments, the F1 2018 Max Rim. And that is a Max Rim. That is just about everything you could possibly want out of a sim racing wheel right there. And looking at it, it's hard to imagine that's a sim racing wheel. About the only thing I'd want to see added to that is some form of a slip ring so I don't have to have a dangly wire. But that is the way it goes. Yeah, I can't testify for everybody's... well-being in the household right now. Who knows what's going on? You never know. Crazy world out there. This is a whole thing on why it's impossible to throw a 110-mile-an-hour fastball. And only reason I'm mentioning it is because they actually have a hitting simulator. So we think we're the kings of the world when it comes to sim. I don't know. That looks pretty advanced, pretty evolved, and kind of cool. Kind of cool. Looks like they even have head tracking on him with those little white dots all over his mask. What else we got? Sorry, you guys. I'm just going through this so quickly and giving you such little light information because, again, I'm so behind on things. But, rumor the AMD Navi card is supposedly going to offer, get this, GTX 1080 level performance at a budget $250 price point. So, that is... pretty cool, and we've been talking about how AMD is so far in it that, you know, we've seen these price jumps in graphics cards, and they are going to do the, you know, they're doing the best thing for us in terms of bringing those pricing down through competition. They're going to force NVIDIA to react if they start getting market share. Been talking about it. Just want to remind you, here's another article about it. Here, you can click here. So if you go to Formula1.com, you can actually click on the thing and register for the F1 qualifier. So if it's going to start out on F1 2017. It's going to finish up on F1 2018. And I got to tell you, if you own this game and you have any kind of pace, you might want to challenge yourself. This could be very big. You know, you're talking about a lot of spots. You know, we could be looking at, what is it, a 40-person draft? That's a lot of sim racers. Or was it 20? I can't remember the exact number. But get out there. Check it out. Get on that leaderboard. Even if you know you won't get it, get up there. The other thing is, don't forget, the final draft is going to come down to things that go beyond just your placing in this. It might be about having a channel. It might be about doing interviews. It might be about how you market yourself that dictates some of those spots. Excuse me. Article here, this is at yournews.com, and we've talked about this in different angles. We've talked about, how real-life sports are seeing the advantage of eSport to capture the young market, the millennial market. And here's a whole article from a former Olympian talking about how sports in general can really utilize the eSport world to market to a younger audience. They can use the eSport world to show people even more depth of the sport that they're following. There are things you can educate people through sim, through eSport, through games, through everything in order to have them have a higher understanding. One of the things I always say about sim racing is, man, you want to know what it's like to turn a lap at Long Beach? You want to know what these drivers are doing? Get in a sim. You're going to have an idea. You're not going to feel the G-forces or the death or any of the risk, but you sure are going to get perspective on what it's like to drive the car. So, did I miss a giant donation? I didn't see it, but thank you. Thank you. I see a bunch of talk about money. I must have missed that, but if that is the case, I'm blown away. Blown away. I don't see it up on my thing, but I appreciate it if that's the case. And if I'm wrong, you guys are so generous. It's not certainly not a plea or an encouragement to do it. Anyway, Sim Racing Observer, it is. So, okay, Ellis, I am going to take a timeout. It didn't show up on my thing. Ellis Jones. Ellis Jones is in the building, everybody. Thank you so much. Let's do a UK race. Ellis, you send me some details. Let's talk. We have email. You're on my email. Send me an email. Let's talk about what we want to do. I'm up for it. We can do a Euro race for sure. So, Sim Racing Observer Jake Sperry has a cool article. I have been talking about this forever, and it is coming true right now. He's calling it the silly season. If you're a racing fan, you know silly season. It's when all the drivers start jumping ship, changing teams, crews, engineers, team principals even. And we are in silly season because right now what you are seeing is a lot of drivers jumping ship, changing teams, maybe even dropping their teams if they want to go after that F1 2017 eSport where you can't be signed. No, you are not, Dad. You can't be signed with a team. You can't be a quote-unquote pro. So, anyway, here's a whole article just talking about some of the latest in jumping ship. I mean, I know Patrick Holzman just changed over to LDLC, and these guys are known for Counter-Strike gaming. So, the gaming teams are starting to draft drivers also. And again, we are going to be professional sim racers in just a matter of time. Some of us, well, some of you already are. ASRock's first Phantom graphics will be available April 19th. So 3 days away from that level of video cards starting to ship and be available. Get ready. Get ready, NVIDIA. I've been an NVIDIA fan for a long time, but I'm ready to see someone slay the dragon and bring lower pricing and better performance. You know, lower pricing means I can afford 2 video cards. A little sad story. My last girlfriend's son actually played Mod Nation Racers a ton and Little Big Planet now that I think about it. But the karting servers for both of those are shutting down. So they had their run, and this is the new face of the world where you buy a game and it plays online so much, but they're not going to support it forever. There you go. Rocket League cross-platform is disabled currently on the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo, one of the great things about Rocket League is that it is cross-platform. But as of now, the Nintendo Switch is not involved in that mass melee, but it will be coming. So don't worry, it will happen for you Twitch players. Last week, we talked about some of the Origin driving games, some of the beginning, whether you're talking pole position, outrun, things like that. But we are talking about the origination of video games. And so here's an article, and this is at gamehistory.org. And they're talking about some of the first advertising for video games, some of the first games. And, I mean, look at this dinosauric... This isn't even a monitor. What do you even call these things? The original tube type things. I don't even remember. But I do remember playing things like this when I was very, very young because my father was heavily into computers. So I was able to play computers at games at a very, very young age. But 1962 was when PDP won. And this was a large, expensive computer. It was considered a mini computer at the time. And it filled up an entire room. But that is where it all began when you really think back in time. It wasn't the arcade racers even, but you know, the beginning of video games was very simple and very large. Look at this video game. It's just a computer. Yeah, oscilloscope. John Cheel, thank you. John Cheel, I think I've already sent you stickers. Did you get them? There was a delay. If you haven't, John, please send me another email. Let me make sure I get you some stickers for getting that in, and I want to make sure I want to make sure that you got the stickers I had promised you way back when as well. I'm not going to go through this, and I didn't have time to read it, but it could be a very cool read. Gama Sutra. They have an article on how did Xbox get its start and its name, and they talk and they go back. It all began in the 90s, I guess, and the thing with DirectX and OpenGL and all these things that were going on. Meetings with Bill Gates, stuff like that. Steam got his stickers. Awesome. All right, John, I'm going to send you another set. If you do me a huge favor and send me an email to remind me, because my brain's always mush with so many things going on, but I'll make sure I get those out, and good pickup on the oscilloscope. CRT, cathode ray tube. Is that right? Sean, have I sent you stickers? You send me an email, and I'll send you some stickers as well. Ellis Jones, send me an email, and I'll send you some stickers. I'll need your color choice and your address. Color choices, orange, white, and black. All right, you guys, let's keep moving along, because I got to get out of here and go to the Peterson Museum and check out some cars. Cool article, and I couldn't agree with them more. 5 reasons the Need for Speed franchise should take a hiatus. Well, I agree. They should. So they're kind of giving something. Hollywood influences, saying how the games have been completely corrupted by this need to make it like a movie instead of like a game. Following trends instead of setting them. You know, a game should open new horizons for us. Not just regurgitate what we've seen over and over and over from them or from their competitors. But following trends is what they've been guilty of, not setting them. I agree. The best versions of Need for Speed go back over a decade. I'll tell you, one of my all-time favorite games was Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. At least 10 years old. Need for Speed Underground, 10 years old. Go back to the original versions when they were setting the trends instead of following the trends. Monetization. They're talking about money. They're just trying to squeeze every money. I don't know that word. Avarice. I don't know either word. Monetization. Is that monetization? I'm just not, my brain's not working. Avarice. That's over my head, guys. Anyway, but the point is they're just trying to squeeze every drop of money out of the game rather than trying to make a quality game. And then the last one, with all that said, time off is only a good thing. Maybe it's time they step away, do something else, get remotivated, come back to the title when they have some good ideas and they want to, you know, teach us some new things about what a game can do in the name of fun. Next up, another game coming for the Oculus VR, and a lot of our guys, thank you, Dennis, the big one, for lending me and sending me your Odyssey. That was his, and I appreciate it, and allowed me to get in that next level VR stuff. But here's a whole game that is, they're calling it something between a James Bond and a Fast and the Furious type game. And I'm really only mentioning it because here's at least one cool driving scene. Not in the car very long. You're in the car, and you're out of the car, and into the plane. But it is a VR game, and that's good, because one of the downsides of VR right now is really the lack of games. Ellis, I don't mind sending them to you in the UK. That's not too much. You've contributed a lot to the show. I don't mind sending to the UK for you there, buddy. I had talked about these, and now we're seeing them, and I just think it's so funny. So that's why I mention it. But these are the Sonic Pumas. And I think I read, I'm not sure if it was this article or a different one that I had read, but they're actually fuzzy. They're fuzzy wuzzy shoes, but I don't know if I would want to run around in a pair of Sonic shoes, but who knows? Keep them in a box. They could be collector editions in time. John Hill, what do you think of those? You're a shoe fanatic. Avarice. What does it mean, John? No, Tom, you wouldn't believe. Ask Dennis about it. I cleaned that. I cleaned it so well and packaged it for him like it was brand new. I went out of my way to make sure there was no cold cooties at all. GT Planet has an article talking about the live subscription service to F1 will be launching in May with the Spanish Grand Prix. Don't know why it took them this far into the season to get this up and running. I think in some markets they've all had things. But there you go. 20 driver onboard cameras. So that means every car on the grid has an onboard camera you could turn to. It'll be available in 58 markets, starting up with the Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah, they are ugly AF. Yes, John Hill is a total, avarice means greed for money. Oh, I gotta submit that to memory. Thank you, John. And yeah, John's a total, shoe guy. If you hang out with John, every time you go somewhere, he's in a new fancy pair of shoes that color coordinate. He even got a compliment this weekend. I'll tell you all about it live on the show in just a minute. I'm getting to the end. I'm going to keep cruising along here. A Malgram collection, 1/8 scale McLaren Ultimate VGT. Yeah, but it's going to set you back $7,400. These guys are like the kings of scale modeling. You think Hot Wheels are cool? No. This is like buying a car. Well, geez, the pricing is the cost of a car. But they will have the new Vision GT cars available at a whopping $7,400. Blows my mind. I don't know who would buy it. Well, here, this one's reasonable. It's only $595. There you go. More news for GT Sport. Little insight as to what is coming. Nothing super tangible, but they are not done with development on GT Sport. So they had made certain promises that they've delivered on, but they're not done. And they basically alluded to the fact that GT Sport, there won't be a GT Sport 2, or at least it's not the next title. Just like we thought, this is sort of like a prologue, it seems, and they'll get back to, the regular GT title. It seems, we hope. Anyway, more to come out of GT Sport. Rather impressed. Latest Forza Challenge, and here's what I want you guys to all go do. And the reason I say it, I would like to see Tanner Foust go as far down the leaderboard as humanly possible. Why? I don't know why, because it just sounds fun. Let's go kick Tanner Foust's butt. Let's get out there in Forza 7, go do the latest Forza RC Challenge, and let's just see how far down the leaderboard we can push Mr. Tanner Foust. But there you go. You can check that out on Forza. I'm just mentioning this because it could be big for certain people, but Tora British GT eSport explained. I have no information on it. I haven't read the article, but it sounds like just a whole nother division. I know of a division that's going on in New Zealand. I think I have one of those stories here. Here's an eSports stadium being built, the first in the Middle East, in Dubai. Surprise, surprise. We could probably see this coming. I think that Dubai is going to end up being one of the esport capitals of the world. That's one of my, you want to take a Sean prediction? I think Dubai sees the power of this, the ability to bring people there. It's good for Dubai. It's good for tourism in the Middle East. It could be the catalyst of a whole genre that they can corner the market on. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear a lot, and we've seen a pickup out of the Middle East when it comes to the whole esport thing. Yes, Tom Jones, that would make it even better if we could get Scott Speed and knock him down the board. Yes, Tanner Foust from US Top Gear, or you can know him as a global rally driver. I believe he was a drifter prior to that. beyond that, okay, so, sorry, guys. I wish I knew more about them because they feel kind of boring to me when I don't know the story. But YouTuber Miniminter of Sidemen fame joins ABB Formula E drivers. So they had a whole thing with fans racing the real drivers versus the streamer guy. And this is a whole thing. You can watch the video of the competition. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is at actionsportsconnection.com. Action Sports Connection. You can see how the whole video played out. I obviously didn't get an opportunity to watch the video with my time frame. So a couple more and then we're out here, you guys. Steam made changes to their privacy settings. It'll soon let you be invisible while being online. I thought you could already do that. I guess you could be invisible being online, but not while you're playing. I'm not sure. Max is a mutt. Max is a Cocker Spaniel, Pomeranian, King Charles, Golden Retriever. I don't know. He's something in that group. ACR Zach Speed had a big announcement, and I apologize to Cody Blanton because he sent this a while ago, and it happened right before I went out of town, and I don't even have the best version of the story right here. But when we're talking about the Apex Online Racing, which is one of the biggest F1 leagues out there, and it's getting bigger and bigger each year as well. But some huge names are going to be playing out in this. So when you look at Team Redline is sending the team of Bono Hui and Graham Carroll. I mean, two of the best. eSport and Cars sends Brendan Lee, Mad Sorensen, and Marcel Kiefer. This is huge. These are big names that are going to be in this, and it should be some very cool competition when it really starts getting heated up. So, just a whole write-up that I had sent to me by the guys at ACR Zach Speed, just kind of informing me, letting me know what's going on with that. So, this is going to be some very cutthroat competition stuff we're going to be watching. We'll be watching those races like we're watching our real-life pros. And no, but Max will retrieve anything you throw, and he will retrieve it all day long. You cannot wear out that dog. He's the best dog I've ever known in my entire life. He only has my dog only has one flaw. And that one flaw is that he likes to bark at just about any noise he hears, especially if it's a buzzer, a bell, a whistle, a loud diesel truck, a motorcycle. But he's the best dog, and that is his only flaw. There's no other thing he does wrong. He is the perfect dog. I got so lucky. With my dog. I love him so much. Hey, buddy. He's sleeping. Okay, that is pretty much the end. April 5th, I missed this. This was 10 days ago, but we did do our Simpit patron race. The Ellis has not left the building patron race. And Billy Strange Racing put up a video showing some of the highlights from his view, and poor Billy did not have the best of luck in these races. Bad luck found Billy, in fact. So, anyway, if you want to see how things played out on Billy's end, you can go to Billy Strange Racing, check out that video from the 5th, and thank you, Billy, for putting that up, because that was a really fun event for us. It was a lot of fun for me to broadcast it, and we're going to be doing something... He does bark when I'm slow, Michael. And, yeah, he is a good guard dog. Nobody's sneaking up on me. So, but thank you, Billy, for doing that, because I appreciate anything that shows off what we're doing and all the fun that we have here at the Simpit. So, very, very cool of you, and I appreciate that. And that does really take us to the end of today's show. So, this weekend, you all know I went to Long Beach Grand Prix. And I've been going for years now, every year, and I actually stay down there in Long Beach, and it was a lot of fun. But this year was extra special to me, and for several reasons. So let me just kind of show you what went on. There's Long Beach, and I'm not even here to show you the racing, other than there is what it looks like. It's a beautiful racetrack, incredible venue, and it was the best weather ever. Oh, Joa says the hump day is the 18th. Thank you, Joa. Thank you very much. Anyway, so at Long Beach this year, well, look at this. Who are these guys? Now, they're not here to defend themselves today, which is too unfortunate. We'll have to talk to them tomorrow. But right there in the middle is Severiano Espinoza, a.k.a. Lechon, a.k.a. Franco. And he's one of our guys who hangs out each and every day. And they're on the left, so you know me. The other guy, that is William Martinez, a.k.a. El Bucho. Anyway, I got to meet these guys and hang out with them all weekend. And that was very, very awesome. John, I did not see the Colt. I was going to, and then when I went and saw the way and where they had the stage set up, it was not super duper cool. Dave, I'm going to mention that in a minute as well. I wish I had it ready to pull up, but I'm going to mention it as well. Actually, let me take a side. We'll come back to Long Beach. Dave just mentioned, don't forget about the Simpit Pit Crew channel. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Simpit Pit Crew, you'll see that channel where Dave Blair and some others are coming online as well, have been creating videos. There's a whole highlight video from our patron race there as well. So lots of cool things. You want to stay on top of the racing, see it from more than just my angle, get over there to the Simpit Pit Crew channel on YouTube. So anyway, I want to thank Franco and Bucho for coming down because we did have a lot of fun. And you can see John Hill was there as well. So there's John Hill. And the whole gang hung out all weekend long and just watched racing, talked racing, and had a lot of fun. And beyond that, there's John Hill looking proud. I should have taken a picture of John's shoes. And then we had one extra person. Well, two extra people, part of our crew. In addition to that, we also had Jessica Lopez and her son Jaden. So we gave an invite to Jessica, told her we were all hanging out at the races, and invited her down. And sure enough, she came down with Jaden, who's a big, huge racing fan and does some sim racing on his own. It was great seeing and hanging out with Jessica, and you can see the apartment we were actually staying in. And I was able to actually do an interview with Jessica as well. So I will have that coming out in the next couple of days. A catch up with Jessica. It's been 5-6 years since she's been on the show, and it was a lot of fun. I saw her not long ago, actually, but it was a lot of fun interviewing her and getting to talk to her about some things that you may never have heard in all the years that she was online, being part of Inside Sim Racing and doing all the wonderful work she did for the sim community. I mean, I think of Jessica, and she really is the queen or the mom or whatever you want to call her. You know, she didn't even sim race, and the amount of time and energy she spent, and it's a cool interview. I think you'll really enjoy catching up with her. And this last picture, you're just looking at the whole group. I'm not there. There we go. We got Bucho on the right, Franco in the middle, my buddy Troy. I don't know if you guys know Troy, but he's been one of my friends, best friends since like 1998. I worked with him at Russell Racing. He went on to work at Ray Hall Racing. So when I go to the races with him, we get to rub elbows with a lot of the guys we used to go to school with. And he is always getting job offers as he walks through the paddock, which is fun to watch for me. You can see Jessica there talking to John in the background, a little over behind Troy, and that's Jaden's head who's obscured. So we had a whole gang there at Long Beach this year, and it was so much fun. So thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. For John, thank you for coming down. Franco, William, Bucho. If you guys, hear this, thank you for coming all the way out from Chicago. I had a really great time meeting you guys. Had a great time at the race. And obviously, thank you, John Hill. Thank you, Jessica and Jaden, for coming down. It made it maybe the best Long Beach ever. And thank you to Troy, my buddy, who comes out each year for the race. So anyway, that is going to do it for today's show. I have to tell you, I don't think I'm going to have time to do a Monday Fun Day. Now, if traffic is light and I get home, maybe I'll spontaneously do something, because honestly, I haven't been in my sim rig in 4 days and I am dying to do some racing. So maybe I will fire up later, but I can't promise that. I will be back tomorrow morning with the pit stop. I will not be back tomorrow evening with anything, because I normally am not on Tuesdays. And then Wednesday, full-time back in action again. So thanks for enduring my holiday, my vacation, and at least I was able to come out a few times during that just to keep things fresh and hang out with all my good friends here in the sim racing world and do this pit stop. So thank you very much. Lots of other things in the background going on. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of content coming. When I get back, I'm going to hit things full steam ahead. I'm backed up on reviews, backed up on content. I'm moving next week. It's going to get crazy, but it's going to get really, really good. So we're all along for the ride. Thank you for being here. So that is going to do it for today. I'm off to go to Peterson Museum to check out some really cool cars and things. And maybe I'll give you a little update on that tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for being there. Hope you had a great weekend. Get out there and race this week. Have a good time. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.